BJW.
November 8, November Tango with the Pennine Ham digital net. I hope everything is okay. We really want to have beautiful weather here, 25 degrees, the sun is shining, a light breeze, so ideal conditions for being abroad, not exactly ideal conditions for ham radio. Okay, though, please respect 3 to 4 seconds between overs. And I will take the first one on the list, Mike 7 Charlie Romeo Mike, the group for an 8 November Tango. I take the ticket for Golf 6 Lima Uniform Golf 6 Lima Uniform from 08 November Tango in the group. Golf 6 Sierra November. Dave, are you around from 08 November Tango in the group? Not we heard from Dave. Is there anyone on GB7 who wants to join the net? For 08 November Tango in the group, go ahead. Nothing from GB700 trade. 4JG. I don't know if you are around, maybe you are to your anyway, I give it a try. Go for Juliet Bravo Alpha, the group of 08 November Tango. Nothing heard from Jeff. From Jim, sorry. Today, Jeff, my 0 AUG has a new holiday, so I take the chair today. So we will see if Delta Golf 6 Oscar Alpha Yankee Frank in Germany. For an 8 November Tango. Go ahead, Frank. Delta Golf 6 Alpha Yankee, the group. Frank, are you around from 08 November Tango? Nothing heard from Frank. Golf Mike 4 JTZ Juliet Kilo Zulu. Pete, are you around from 08 November Tango in the group?
08 November Tango with Route Jim for JKZ. Yeah, good evening, Jeff and one and all. And yeah, I'm just looking down on the ham shaft dashboard. We've got links to the top application. I was just saying to Nick earlier on that it shows you who actually is on iDate and time. So but I do see the Pennine Ham list on the right-hand side as well. So there we go. Yeah, all well and good. Lovely warm up here. The calendar on the phone says 22 degrees. My external temperature tells me that we're 27 degrees at the moment. And during the day we did peak at 30. So quite warm and sticky up here. Quite interesting. Filled the car up with all the cuttings from the garden, and I think 5 huge bags of cuttings. Good job I've got a Volvo estate, but they went up to the recycling centre. And that's really all I've been doing today, to be quite honest, apart from checking up all of software for the old Pi dashboards as well. The talk last night I thought was excellent. Learned a few more things, and it rekindled my interest to dig out the Upitex kit that I've got. I was going to do that back end of last year, but other things got in the way, so that's gone to near the top of my list of to-dos, so to speak. And I see Mike and Adriana on the list, so I'm wondering whether, if I remember rightly, Adriana's won what transmission into the States qualifies her for one of those wonderful 1,000-mile on one watt of horse, I would have thought. So that is Jeff, 08 November Tango, GM 4JKZ.
GM 4JKZ, so 08 November Tango, the group. Yeah, wonderful heat and interesting to hear that it's all up there in Scotland near the borders. And I agree, very interesting talk there. And quite inspiring and motivating, I think, to put our hands to some QRP operation, absolutely. Oh, below, so I put the microphone to Delta Lima 1 DJW and DL8 DDT, so you will probably get an answer, Keith. So go ahead, Mike and Adriana.
Delta Lima 1 Bravo Charlie Whiskey. Very good evening to everybody. Yeah, seems to be a small setup this evening, but nevertheless there's quality in it. Try. Yeah. WX-wise, it's been a very agreeable day. Not so hot here. We had about 22 degrees centigrade at noontime, and now it's about 18 Celsius. From time to time, there are small showers, which are welcome. But a few days ago, we had torrential rain for about 1.5 days, and that was a little bit difficult because we are living in a dead-end alley, and at the end of this alley there is there's the sink, you call it, where all the rainwater goes down into the pipe system, and it has got blocked with all the dry leaves falling from the trees, and so it was very difficult. End of the alley was covered in water, and we are very lucky that this didn't find its way into our cellar until now, anyway. Yeah, that's the situation here on our side. Radio-wise, the next over, I think, one word to the talk yesterday. We are looking forward to seeing it very soon on YouTube, but we were not able to take part yesterday because there was a family reunion following a sudden unexpected death of an elderly relation, and that was a very sad thing, of course. So that got priority. But interesting talk, I'm sure about it, and we will do it 100%. And as we are both interested in TOP radio, this should be the trick. So I'm passing the microphone to Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango.
Yeah, this is Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango for the very good evening. I'm very happy to talk to you this evening. Yes, Mike just said, weather conditions at Boldenburg are quite so-so, as to speak. And during the last week we hadn't been able to make portable equipment here, but we hope that weather conditions will be better next week, I think, and that will be possible to make something on the radio here. So I hand the microphone back to Oscar November 8, November Tango for Cook.
Okay, thank you, Mika and Fiona. And okay about that and early and water. Yeah, we have something similar here with an underground garage which should be cleaned up every week. This is one of the tasks that I do with someone because otherwise the leaves are blocking everything. So yeah, so we do that every week. That's absolutely important to do. And okay about person in there at the family, my deep feelings for that. Sorry to hear that, Mike and Adriana. And also a very good everyone on YouTube. I'm sure there are some people on YouTube. And actually yesterday I forgot about just another QRP thing that is very popular nowadays, and that's LoRa, long range radio. That's long range radio on 70 centimeters and also on some other frequencies with less than 100 milliwatts. So that's also something which is very amazing, and I see that a lot of non-hams are interested in that because that is the ISM band, which is actually which everyone can use if you want. So that's probably a potential for some new hams there. Like in the time of CB radio, a lot of them also moved to ham radio after a certain time. So yeah. Okay, Nick, go for India Whiskey Oscar on 8 November Tango.
08 November Tango from G4IWO. Yeah, thank you very much, Jeff, and good evening, everybody. We've only got one person watching on YouTube currently, but we do get a lot of views after the event. I think it's probably that time of year, to be honest, where live activities take a bit of a backdoor place where we've got such beautiful weather outside, and people watch it at their own leisure, probably later on in the evening or another day when they've got some spare time. Yeah, I thought last night's meeting was excellent. Steve gave a really good description, I think, of the history both of the club and QRP as a fun thing to do. And by the way, he made reference to the 1,000 mile per watt award. That's not actually a GQRP Club award. That's an award by the QRP Amateur Radio Club International, based in the US. And they issue a number of awards, and that's one of the awards they give. As a member of the QRP ARCI, which I think currently is about $30 per annum, 1 year subscription gives you a subscription to their quarterly QRP quarterly magazine, but you can apply for the award as a non-member, and they charge you $10 to put that application in. So perhaps not quite as attractive as it might sound unless you're already a member. And their magazine is quite interesting. Bob N4XAT is a member and has sent me copies of it to have a look through. And they've got some very interesting articles. It's a kind of a UK version of Sprat. There's probably more articles about antennas than anything else, but it's certainly an interesting read. So on that, I'll pass the microphone back to you. 018NT in the group, G4IWO.
And speaking about Bob, there he is, November 4, X-Ray Alpha Tango, the group. 08 November Tango, and congratulations on your new results on Bupa. Go ahead, Bob.
with a group of four X-ray Alpha Tango. Good evening to all. Good afternoon to the listeners. Yeah, I had a pretty good week last week. July the 4th and July the 5th, the main manager were excellent. And that's when I made most of my contacts. Then it started to go downhill again. And there, again, QSB crept in, where it would be S9, and the next thing it would be S1. So, I was very fortunate, and I did make it. I was very interested this night in a lecture, and what I found interesting was, and of course I know it in the back of my head, but it was pointed out the difference in the amount of wattage and signal strength. And there's very little difference between, say, 10 or 20 watts and 100 watts or so as far as it goes. And I found that interesting. I think that's why I'm so lucky with my parks on the air. Weather here today it's cooled down a bit. It's only 81 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about 27 C. Just at the moment that you were giving your weather report, Bob, I don't know if you hear me, but we lost just at the moment that you started to give your weather report. I just lost my signal. It just came back. Another Zoom net related one. They've been talking recently about metastatic, and I wasn't familiar with it, so I looked it up last night. Found out here in the United States it's 1/900 megs, but it is available to non-hands, but also to hands. But if hands use it under our regulations here, we have different rules to go by as a ham than a non-ham does. But and I may look into that in the future if I ever tired of code. Let's see, I don't have anything else on the list for right now. So back to you, Jeff, for picking up the net tonight. 018NT with group November 4, X-ray Alpha Tango. November 4, X-ray Alpha Tango, 018 November Tango. Yeah, that's interesting. 900 megahertz. I think here we are in the 70 centimeter band, 433 and something. I think in the UK there is a lot of activity on 868 megahertz. So it then depends a little bit on the region or the country. But I think that's very interesting development. I do have an eye gauge here on my balcony, actually, by one of my friends asked me to put that on my balcony because I'm at the high point, and that's under the call sign Oscar November 2 Alpha Charlie Oscar dash 1515. So if you search for that on the aprs.fi, I think you will see where I'm located. Each high gate, so that's Oscar November 2 Alpha Charlie Oscar dash 15. Okie doke. Louis, Golf 8 Kilo Juliet, the group 018 November Tango, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. 018 November Tango and the group GAKJJ. Yeah, greetings to everyone. The WX in Nottingham is, has been today, wall-to-wall sun. It's 29 degrees Celsius at the moment. It doesn't seem to have cooled off at all. In fact, it seems to have got hot this evening. Over the week, I caught up on Mike and Andriana's video of Friedrich's Haven, and they gave a very good flavour of the Hamfest. I was quite interested in that, and it was very well produced, so that was good. I also caught up on his presentation on the GQRP Club, and that was also very interesting, particularly since I used to run homebrew rigs on 2 meters in the 70s and 80s, and it was, basically they were transceivers based on the G3 ZBC boards, which were published in Radcom, and I think it was called, I think at that time it was called radio communication, but it was a very nice board based on Plessey SL600 series ICs, and basically I used low power, less than a watt most of the time, although I did get a small linear from microwave modules. Okay, Louis, we lost you. At least I lost you. I don't know if everyone had the same experience, but I lost you from the moment when you started to talk about the microwave modules, the amplifier you had there for 2 meters, Louis QSL. Yeah, Roger, Jeff. I'm still showing on the screen here. I don't know whether my hotspot has done something strange, but are you still copying? Go ahead. Yeah, 100% copy now. Go, Louis. Well, I can't understand why I'm not dropping it from the anyway, as I was saying, I used to run this low power G3 ZVC transceiver. That was homebrew, and it had a number of we had a phase lock loop VFO and as I said, low power PA, but yeah, and the other thing I was saying was that we could do with Mike's Rain in Nottingham because it's very dry here. And finally, I said that radio-wise last week was a disaster. So more on that on the next over. So back to you, Jeff, from GAKJJ. Okay, thank you for reading that. Very, very good, Louis. Thank you very much for this. G8KJJ, the group over 8 November Tango, could be on my side also. That would be possible. Louis, so no problem at all. And we go back to the top of the list, and I will try and see if Frank in Q, Delta Golf 6, Oscar Alpha Yankee. Frank, are you around from 08 November Tango in the group? Nothing heard from Frank, so I give it back to you. Did you have the same problem with Louis that I had, or could that be something on my side? Golf Mike 4, JKZ, the group of 8 November Tango.
November Tango, GM4 JKZ. No, everything was fine, Jeff. It must be your end. I copied to 100% on the first over, so. Right, so radio-wise, here, not a great deal. The last couple of days I'll be working some FC8 and working around the world, basically, which makes a change. Obviously over to your favourites in China. I did the famous again Tuesday night. I managed to work a station in Japan and then got called by others. So the last time that happened, I got, I think it was 8 Japanese stations in a row on FT8, all calling in and waiting for me to reply. So obviously Scotland's quite interesting to them. But I've worked Switzerland tonight, but I noticed I'm on 17 at the moment. There's quite a lot of interesting stuff coming through from all round, apart from Oceania. So we've got China and Hong Kong and Brazil, etc. coming through, which looks interesting, but I'm focusing on us tonight, basically. The talk last night on that aspect of the 6 dB loss per S point was quite interesting on the loss of power, so you can understand how even 10 watts of FTA as opposed to 100 watts of FTA will get you there. So things to play with, which is what I was doing this afternoon, dropping the power right down. So there we go. But otherwise, radio-wise, not a great deal to add. Sorted out my hotspot. I'm not sure whether I mentioned it last week, but if you update your iStar to 4.1.10 and you're running on DMR, then you will have to password or Brandmeister and put it back into iStar. It may have been a glitch on mine, but mine lost it, so I had to redo that, and then everything started working okay. So that's all from me at the moment. I do have a very interesting picture of Bob and yourself this evening. So I'll look to you there, Jeff. 8 November Tango, GM for JKZ.
Okay, thank you, Pete, and thank you for telling us that it was not Louis, but it was probably on my side that I had a glitch in my internet connection or so, Louis. So everything seems to be okay on your side, and there must be a problem on my side. I just see on 6 meters there is a 9 Juliet 2 Fox India, I think. Zambia going up and down, coming in and out. At a certain moment he was very, very strong and tried to call him, but competition was too heavy. But anyway, quite interesting because that's nearly the south of South Africa. That's nearly the south of Africa, so quite fascinating. At the moment he was at +2, +5 signal to noise ratio, and now he's come again. And then 15 minutes later he comes back and so on and so on. So I keep an eye on my screen at the same time. Back to Germany now. Delta Lima 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey and Delta Lima 8 DDT, the group of an 8 November Tango. Go ahead, Mike and Adriana.
Delta Lima 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey. Yeah, first of all, last Lou, PHJJ, was no problem here on our side. We could hear 100%. Radio-wise, as I said, we retried something with the antennas. We built up a new Ribacom antenna, the version which is only 4.9 meter long, and the feeding via the 1 is about 50 centimeters above the ground, using 3 radials, which are 3 meters long. So that's quite minimalistic. I think it's working. Put that up again, and strongly enough, it seems to have a preferred direction, even if it has a vertical, which should be omnidirectional. but the most successful connections could be made or can be made in the southwestern direction. So we had 3 SSB contacts, for example, one into the Azores and 2 into Papa Yankee, Brazil, with this antenna. And I will test it out a little bit more and see if perhaps there are other preferred directions also, not only this one. I can't explain it, but it's interesting. And one thing, by the way, as I said, there is a 124 Annan, 50 centimeters above the ground, situated at the foot of the antenna. And this has been discovered by a robin, I think it's called, bird with red breast, which has made our garden his home, and he has discovered this box, this Annan, to sit on it and look around. Obviously, it's a very good vantage point to look over the garden, even if it is only 50 centimeters high. And he always sits up there. I hope he doesn't get electrocuted if I use it, HI, but it should all be isolated, so no problem there, I think. But it's very curious. I'm really expecting the bird to build up its nest on the Annan. We'll wait and see, HI. So passing the microphone to Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango.
Yeah, this is Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango for the group. Yes, I'm also very interested in watching the video about the GQP club. It must be interesting to look on the dashboard. Is explained how the output is in relation to the input, how the SWR, how the S-meter changes. And yes, I'm still working on my Kanga kit. It's in progress, but it's not just fitted. And this will be quite interesting if it will work. And then what possibilities it gives us. It's only one frequency, 50 meters, and only one was output. So this might be quite interesting UMP experience. Yes, on the other hand, my True SDX is making some problems with the power connection. There is, I've just looked it up, I think it's called a wobbly contact. So I fear that I have to screw it up and look where the fault seems to be, and then to fit it all together again. So this might be an interesting experience during the next week. So that's all from my side. I hand the microphone to Oscar November 8 November Tango.
Okay, Delta Lima 1 DJW. Delta Lima Mark and Adriana, very interesting. And a nice talk bird there that could be a kind of alert page and a skewed antenna. If anyone asks what is that you are doing there, you can say, well, that fault can rest there and overlook the situation each eye, and maybe you can put some feed, some fooding around that, or a little thing that they can drink and so on and so on. So that might be a good solution. Oh, yeah, Rick, go for India West Coast to the group with 8 November 10. Go ahead, Rick.
Oscar November 8 November Tango from G4IWO. Yeah, I have to report exactly the same loss in receive transmission from both Bob and also from Lou. As we've discovered in the past, the paths to each of us via the internet are obviously different, and for strange reasons, both myself and Jeff ON8NT are sometimes being cut off from the reception that doesn't affect other people. So goodness knows how that works, but it's one of those odd things of life, and not to be too worried about. Yeah, on the last over, I forgot to give the weather here. It's currently 23 degrees. It was at its peak 28 today. Much better weather. But I'd gone out. I'd intended to go out yesterday to do some portable work, but we had a series of showers yesterday, and lots of fog as well. And I didn't fancy going up in the hills in either the fog or the rain. But today was much better, but I didn't have the time to do that. Although what I have done is put together a different antenna, particularly for use on 40 meters. I've been using, as you know, for portable work, the 5.5 meter AliExpress telescopic whip, and I kind of thought I ought to put up a small pole, and I've made some little guys for one of the small 7 meter fiberglass poles, and I'm going to do one of two things: either use one of the off-center fed dipoles, or to use it to support a end-fed half wave. And I want to try out both versions. I know both will give me much better results on 40 meters across Europe, and to the UK, but I suspect are going to be down on what I've achieved on 20 meters with the vertical antenna. But as people have commented this evening, HF conditions have been rather poor and remain so today. I had a quick listen on early on today, but the conditions have not been that good on the HF bands. I didn't listen on 6, and I don't want to go out and try another antenna on a day when actually HF conditions are not good, because I want to try and see if I can compare it with slightly better and livelier conditions without all the QSP that we've got. So back to you, Jeff. ON8NT in the group, G4IWO.
Okay, Nick, and maybe one of these could be that we both have the same issues with dropout, is that I think you are also terminal mode, and I'm using exactly the same. I'm using the terminal mode, so that might be, but that yeah, could be, but I'm not sure about that. Not at all. And interesting about your experiments that you are planning there for 40 meters, yeah. Probably you will have better results on meters, and maybe you'll try 30 meters on the 10 megahertz band. But that's that's GW, so that might be also a good option. But afraid, like you said, on 20 meters and higher up, that will be not that good unless you want to work some European. But I think you and I would be more interested in to have the occasion at least to work some deep there. Okay, November 4 X-Rail van Tango, the group 418, November Tango, go ahead, Bob. With the group November 4 X-Rail van Tango. First of all, we'll have 100% non-using terminal mode here, but no problem with your transmission here. Let's see what else. I can't read my own writing anymore. It's getting more difficult all the time. This morning, I worked 14 parks. Now, I'm not saying there were only parks. I worked 14 parks. Probably I can't keep up with them anymore. I've worked so many, it's hard for me to remember which ones I've worked. but there's more on 40 meters and 10 on 20 meters this morning, all CW. And I can't complain. Yesterday I spent most of the day buying my endorsements. As you know, what they do is similar to see. They give you an endorsement as you add on. I have 34 and 107 endorsements, and weekend just trying to get over 2,500. I didn't download anything, so I had to. I spent most of the morning looking at what endorsements I got, and that's getting more difficult for me also. As of yesterday, or this morning, I know that as of 1200 today, I had 2,505 parts, 734 QSOs, and 24 DF countries west. So too bad there. And Hunter, I'm 900 as I wanted. I was 36 out of 495,075 hunters. Really clipped it. I'm down to 976. Of course, that could change. With better conditions than I have, or that spends more time, could push me. I can't really complain. I'm perfectly happy with what I've got. Tonight, I do have a photograph. I have a photograph of the Danish naval training ship. I have a nice photo of that my friend took just recently. So tonight, that's the photo that I'll be sending. I guess that's about all. I could go on and on, but get back to you before.
N4X80.
November 4 X-ray Alpha Tango, 08 November Tango. Congratulations on that. And I think you are a great example of QRP. Actually, they gave some examples of people who are achieving great results in QRP, but I think you are also someone who has great results in QRP, and it is possible. Absolutely. So congratulations on that. And let's people do sorry to cause any problems to you anyway. But yeah, most people have no problem at all with you. So Golf 8 Kilo Juliet is the group of 8 November Tango. ONA November Tango, Golf 8 Kilo Juliet Juliet. Yeah, fine business, Jim. Participate in the VHF NSD for a couple of hours, and I thought that would be nice. So I decided I'd use Lockroll, and I've not used that for contesting ever before, so I thought I'd set it up with cat control, and I thought, well, that would go really well. But I've never used it with cat control before, and so I didn't check that the BTT was working. So when I went on to TX, the SDR switch didn't change over, and it blew up the RNA. And fortunately, that's a fairly inexpensive part of the SDR system I've got here, and it saved the SDR itself. So that was very fortunate. I'll just drop out for a second. So that was it. So I finished up with the paper log, the bit that I did on the contest, and it was a bit of a disaster all round. Nick, I've been looking into a 15-meter extension to the Delta loop, and this would be by adding an additional top to the 10-meter loop. And in fact, I've been modelling this. It's a diamond shape in the end. so it went loop. And I've been modeling it, and it suggests it should work. And it's got a great polar diagram, about 60 dB of gain on the meters at 25 degrees, so it should be fairly good for the X. But I haven't actually built it. This is all just so I'm going to maybe in the summer, of course, but I mean later in the summer I might have a go at that, and I'll let you know how that goes. Anyway, there was no problem with that one. ON8 November Tango, G8KJJ. G8KJJ, group ON8 November Tango, no problem this time, perfect transmission. And sorry to hear about the disaster here, that's could be an expensive disaster, so way. And then training about the 50-meter loop, by the way, I had an article here in the local radio magazine about the hex beam for 10 meters, a portable hex beam for 10 meters. So if you want that, just give me a sign and I can send you that. It's in Dutch and French, but of course with Google Translate you can put that in English, I think, and I think the pictures are quite clear, so something to learn there. And you also add 6 meters to that hex beam, or maybe 50 meters to our at the top of the list, and let's see if Frank is there. Above 6 was called Yankee November Tango. Are you there, Frank? Nothing heard from Frank, so we are with a small group, so I will give and then the 3 of us will send in their pictures, but I give you the mic in. Great. Not a little group of 8 November Tango, go ahead, Keith.
8 November Tango with a GM4JKZ, yeah, fine there, Jeff. And congratulations for peaking over your 2,500 contacts. That's quite a milestone, I must admit. And looking forward to your picture tonight of the training ship. The one I've got is quite an interesting one. It's the Waver steamer. And when I was a child, I lived on the seafront at Brighton, on the coast there, and this paddle steamer used to come up and moor at the end of the pier, the Brighton Pier, in the early days, and I'm talking about the sort of late 50s. So, should be interesting. It's a cracking little ship. And, yeah, it looks as though the bands are improving, certainly to me. I'm being called by everybody now on 17 metres, so Curacao's there as well, which is interesting. That's down by Aruba. But I've been jumping up to 10 metres. Trouble is, up here 10 metres is generally dead as a dodo for any contacts because of the topography up here. But there we go. Mike, Robin on the alarm, yeah, brilliant. I did put a picture of the, I think it was a song thrush, sitting on one of the spreaders on my DS Commander in back garden. They like that as a perch as well. So, and Robins are very good. Quite often we'll go out in the garden and we would have, well, we just have about 2 or 3 robins, believe it or not. And they are quite territorial normally. But they would be within arm's reach of you, just enjoying the sunny afternoon. So, great stuff, absolutely great stuff. Right, okay then, I'll put it back to you there, Jeff, and picture will come at the end of the session there. And thanks for everything this evening, brilliant. 8 November Tango Group, GM4JK.
GM4JK, November Tango. Yeah, we are expecting, I'm looking forward to that picture. I have also one slight different picture. Over the weekend, I was in the city of Mons, which is in the French-speaking part of Belgium. Had great difficulty with the closing of the mines and the steel works and so on and so on. But and survived that, and it's now quite a vibrant city, quite interesting to see young entrepreneurs opening new shops and bakeries and restaurants and so on and so on. So quite interesting. So I have a big screen there. Oh, Delta Lima 1, BJW and DLA DDT, the group for 8 November Tango.
Delta Lima 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey. First of all, thank you very much, Jeff, for hosting the net. Dank for you back. And it was a nice evening again. Very interesting information there. Bob, and for XAT, not to be forgotten, congrats from our side to your awesome achievements in Poda. I think it's reached was I couldn't even dream of, but very, very well done. I wanted to tell something. We at Friedrichshafen Hampshire, we picked up Mini Annan 1 to 49, which was made and sold by obviously an Italian family who were doing a shop there, a very small shop with self-built equipment. This looked very neat. It was very well made. From the size, about, I'd say, half the size of a bell, which you got on the bicycle. It's for power up 20 watts, so QRP. And this afternoon I wired it up with the DX wire with the X wire for an antenna, for an NFET, and set it out. It took about 10 meters, or a little bit less, of antenna wire, and it was working very well. And to my astonishment, I found that it did not only work on 20 meters with the ratio of 1 to 1, but also with the same ratio on 80 meters. You would ask me why this is so, but it's perhaps something like 9.5 meters of wire, I think, could be something like why this should be resonant on 80 meters. I cannot, so I will try it out in the field with the QOP equipment and see what results we get from there. Very interesting and very nicely made Anna. From my side and for this evening, 73 to all, stay safe, take care, and looking forward very much to meet you again next week, and passing the microphone now to the
Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango for the group. Yeah, it was amazing, your contacts. So many contacts, and over the 2,500 contacts, so many awards, quite amazing. Yes, from my side, I have nothing to report more radio-wise. Thank you very much, Jeff, for hosting the net, and it was a pleasure to be with you during this evening. Wish you all the best for the next week. 73 and 88 from Northern Germany. Hope to see you down the log. This was Charlie Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango. Passing the microphone back to Oscar Lima 8.
Okay. you might tell Adriana, Delta Lima 1, PJW, and Delta Lima 8, November Tango. I will change the order slightly. I will give the microphone out to Louis, and then to Nick, and then to Bob for the picture and his last comments, and then to Keith, and then to myself, So I give the microphone first of all to Louis. Golf 8, Kilo Juliet, the group over 8 November Tango. Go ahead, Louis. Yeah, thanks, Jeff. ON8 November Tango, GAKJJ. It's been a very interesting net again tonight, and thanks ever so much, Jeff, for hosting the net. Would be interested in the 10 meter hex beam. I think Nick mentioned it as well earlier on, but I would be interested in that just a little bit to see what the advantage would be of that. But yeah, it's been a great net tonight, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I look forward to next week. So 73s to everyone, and I'll continue listening, but I won't be making any other further contribution. So back to you, Jeff. 08 November Tango, GAKJJ. Yeah, okay. I will send you a copy after the net, no problem at all. And okay, Adriana and Mike, I forgot to mention that's quite interesting about that mini and 149 and work 80 meters. That's quite, well, that's a good thing. Maybe the efficiency will not be that good, but anyway, even with a compromise, and then you can make contacts. So that's quite interesting, I think. I give the last to Nick, and also so go for India Whiskey Oscar, the group over 8 November Tango.
And 8 November Tango, G4IWO returning. Yeah, thank you very much, Jeff, and again, fabulous contributions. To Bob, of course, absolutely astonishing your results on POTA, using low power as well, Bob. So, you know, I think everyone stands back and admires your achievements there. To Lou, the concept of the diamond shape vertical loop antenna is one that I have actually built in the past, and I found a schematic which I can't find at the moment to construct it. So it had obviously a continuous loop in the diamond shape, broken at the bottom, supported on a single pole, with wires pulling it out to create the diamond shape, but fed with twin feeder, and that turned it into a multi-band loop antenna, and I've used that very successfully on HF with some excellent results down by the Thames estuary, very near to Southend-on-Sea in Essex, and that worked extremely well down there. And if I can find the person who designed this and produced a little note on it, I'll make that available more widely. It's frustrating when you can't find something you're looking for, but that's one of the joys of the things we do. And incidentally, we've got a couple of people coming up. One of them is Frank Howell is coming back again at the beginning of September to give an update with Scott McIntosh on their take on Solar Cycle 25 and where it's got to. He's also sent me a copy of an article that they've jointly written for RAGCOM, and it is an exceptionally difficult article to read and to understand, and I say that as someone who went to university to study mathematics. There's a lot of some quite detailed statistical maths in the article, but it's a very, very academic read, and I struggled with it, and I know quite a few people will, but he's offered to come back and give a talk based on this article. I've just got my fingers crossed and hope very much that he's able to explain it in a way that will take his audience with him. But I'm sure people will get something out of it nevertheless. And of course I have got Emil DL8JJ coming back, but not until the beginning of October. when I went back to Emil to try and sort out some dates for him to come along and give us a talk about the trip he made to Echo Alpha 5, to that island off Echo Alpha 5, I discovered that he's away up in the polar circle, taking some groups on treks up there, and then he's off to do some what he describes as high wall rock climbing on the Dolomites in Italy. So I struggled to get an earlier date from Emil, but very much looking forward to having DL8 JJ back at the club. So on that note, I wish everyone a very pleasant evening. Thank you very much for everyone's company. 73s to everyone, and stay safe. This is G4IWO, passing the microphone back to Jeff, ON8NT.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you very much for your contributions and for what we have to expect in the coming weeks and months. Very interesting. Looking forward to that. And with that, we will go for the pictures, and I give the microphone first of all to Bob for some final comments and for your pictures, Bob. November 4, X-Ray Alpha Tango, the group, ON8 November Tango, go ahead.
ON8NT with the group, November 4, X-Ray Alpha Tango. First of all, Jeff, thank you for running that spectacular job. Not too many check-ins tonight, but it was a very enjoyable night. Second, I haven't done it yet. I was a neighbor, a summertime neighbor of the fellow that developed one of the blizzards, All-Star. And I'm tempted to download that repeater on that end, Jeff. I haven't used my All-Star in over a year now, but I used to enjoy it, and it would be good for me to get other than just protocol out. I have done a little FTA. I don't do a lot of FTA, but I have FTA.
ON8NT.
Yeah, we've struggled a bit tonight, listeners and viewers, to the Digital Weekly Net when it appears on YouTube. Some dropouts affecting some of us.
I lost you, Bob. Maybe I'm the one who lost you again, but I would say go ahead with your or with some more comments. I lost Bob. Am I the only on GM4JKZ? Do you also lost Bob?
Yes, also lost Bob, Jeff.
Okay, I will try for the 4X-ray Alpha Tango. Bob, we lost you. At least two of us lost you. If you want to send your picture now or make some more comments, no problem at all. Otherwise, we will give it to GM4JKZ. So, Bob, go ahead. No, I don't feel coming back. So just go and give your picture, and then we can try it again. Golf Mike 4JK is at the group. ONA 8 November Tango.
So where's my connection?
N4X.
Okay, Bob, yeah, that's what we thought. Go ahead, you can send your picture or give some more questions. Go ahead.
Jeff, I don't know what happened. I don't lose my connection.
No problem, Bob. We saw that, but you can send your picture if you want now, Bob. Go ahead. Perfect picture, Bob. Perfect picture. One night that's strange. We lost you, and then you sent the perfect picture each time. How did you receive that, Kate?
100%, Bob. Lovely picture of the three master.
Absolutely true, Bob. And okay about All-Star, maybe we can arrange something to have a QSO or something that might be possible. I will give the microphone now to Keith, GM4JK's head group for 8 November Tango. Perfect ticket, 100% copy. How did you plot that, Bob? November 4th, Alpha Tango, for 8 November Tango.
You said it again. At first it was just, well, it's safe, so it wasn't hurting. But then all of a sudden we lost some on the ship. So would you please have?
Roger, on his way to you.
PM4JKZ.